last night. So this is like a warning energy. This is like a warning. So I was in a dream realm, and it's me, my daughter, and my baby dad because I knighted him yesterday. I knighted him because we ain't that, but we cool. He cool. He a cool. He hold shit down for a little bit. Until things pick up. But in this dream, this really rich man bought my apartment complex. Uh, he bought my apartment complex and ended up buying us like Maseratis and like hella nice, fancy shit. He came in, was like, here's a fucking car, here's a this, right? So him and his like goon, whatever, gave me the car, and I went to go get into the car because I was like, yo, this is lit. I mean, it's free, I guess, whatever. So this is why I'm telling people to be careful, like these glitches in the system. I would suggest you don't take advantage of that shit, and I'm gonna tell you why here. So I go to get in this car. The car doors open up like this way, like that. So I go to get in the car, and there's hella bags in the car, and I'm like wondering, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Um, so so I go to get in the car and the bags are in there, and then I get in. I was about to get in, and then the Secret Service dude come up to me. He goes, "Oh, this car I forgot got shit in it, so come get in this car." So I go in the car, and it's like a limo, and I'm sitting there with a white man. Right, this nigga smell like death. He had flies on him, and like he was like, hella grimy and nasty. And he was like telling me how he bought the shit, and he got physical access to money, and he was like, he'll take care of me. He said all I had to do was sign the contract and sign a contract. And I was like, what kind of contract is that? And then he was like, oh, it's not a big deal. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have my lawyers look it over because I ain't accepting none of this shit if it's illegitimate. You know what I mean? I was like, you can't buy me off. I was like, all I had to do is call my husband and he take care of it. I was like, I ain't worried about money. I ain't worried about this fucking fancy shit on here. My nigga's starting to fly. Right? I was like, my kids are starting to fly. Why would I worry about money? And so he took me to a restaurant. Took me to a restaurant, and the restaurant, was a fancy one in New York City. Hella fucking fancy. So, I was like, I told him, I said, I'm not hungry. I don't want to eat here. I was like, some of the fancy places act like they bougie and shit, but the people that own it don't know how to code the food. They don't know how to code the food. They depend on the fucking chef 100%. Sometimes the chef ain't even that fucking good, but he make it pretend. He used genetically modified shit to fucking organize the cellular ingredients to how he wanted it to taste, not how it actually tastes. And I was like, yeah, I'm not hungry. I ended up walking in New York City. I was walking out in New York City, and niggas started flying. There was a man that was flying in the sky. He was just like flying, like everybody was like taking pictures and recording him as he was flying in the air and shit. And then I ended up going home and telling Josh to not accept no fucking money from nobody else. Like, don't accept the car. Don't accept this. Don't accept that shit. I was like, it's a trap. So all the glitches in the system, there's gonna be more. If you take that money and you spend that money, that take away from your inheritance. It's hooked up now in the system now. So you really don't have to pay for shit, but you should, try the best that you can to like work through the system without having to mess with the system. because Ogun is trying to get the back end to connect with the front end. But I go home, I shut the door, lock it, and they try to bang down my door. They had a big ass fucking rock, a big thing, like boom, boom, trying to break down the door, and the door started cracking and shit. And I was like, I'm not scared. I said I don't want to accept they fucking shit, they money. I said I don't want to accept they shit. And they mad because I don't want to play they domino game. I was like, nigga, I want to play spades. I want to play galactic chess. I don't want to play that shit. I was like, they could keep that Maserati shit. They could keep all them ideas. They could keep that shit. I was like, I'm about to have something way better than that. Hella better than that. So, yeah, in that dream, it was pretty lit because I just said no. I said no to the devil. I was like, you nasty fucker. You smell like fucking rotten corpses and shit. That's how you trying to live forever. Through the rotten corpses. He eat it. He eat the fucking rotten corpses and the babies and shit, and that make him live forever. That's the only reason these immortals was immortal, because they ate people. They had a fucked up genetic sequence through reptilian DNA. So they had to feed that monster inside of them to stay alive. So that's why they was eating children and babies and shit. In order to stay alive, they had to. In order to stay in their body. But anyway, so last night I found out that I was still hurt. I was watching the live with Ogun, and I was like trying to get the conversation, tap into the conversation, get in the mix or whatever. And Ogun was I was just like Ogun, I was just like talk all the test of this shit, but I started to feel some sort, I started to feel some type of way. And I was like, damn, maybe I'm not healed. So I had to go back to what I said and figure out where my pinpoints were, where I cried and where I was mad at him, and where the emotions came out through rolling eyes and shit. I had to like look at my own behavior and see what I was still mad about. And I was still mad about that baby. I was still mad. My heart was still mad about that. I was like, how can I heal from this? Like, and I finally was like, you know what? I'm gonna talk about it. So it was like at 3:36. I called him in the morning through physical and tapped it into the dream realm, and I told him how I felt. I was crying because I was like, you made me feel inadequate. You made me feel like I wasn't good enough. You made me feel, by having a baby. I was like, I wasn't worried when you was, had your mistresses. I know you had to do your shit and da 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 da. But I was like, but the minute you started produce a baby with somebody else from your own heart, and I was like, I was mad at you because I wanted to be your heart. I wanted to be not the machine, but like that crystal clear water, for him to like swim in, and his heart to feel like a fucking dolphin or something like that. So he never would ever get sad. I was like, I wanted to be your heart. I was working hard as fuck to be your heart. I was killing myself to try to be your heart. And he sat and listened, and he goes, it's not fair for me for you to cry. He's like, every time you cry, that break my fucking heart. And I was like, so in a timeline, his heart is sick. It was sick in a timeline. His child, his son, his duplication of his heart was sick. He had leukemia and a blood disorder, but they wouldn't have caught it in time. They wouldn't have caught it in time. So I ended up taking the baby to Yemaya, and I lived a baby life for him, and I took that hit, and then reprogrammed the baby back into his body after I took him to Yemaya to go live for a little bit, because he had to be under the protection of me, because Ogun hurt outside of his body, it was dangerous. It is and it was. So having a bitch duplicate and didn't even know where his softest spot was in his genetic code, bitch. His genetic code is so difficult to replicate. So when she replicated his DNA and his heart, she forgot a couple of loopholes and shit like that. So the baby had a heart disorder, leukemia, all this other fucking shit. And then I took him out of his body and I raised him under Yemaya so he couldn't die. I was like, if that baby really did die, we would lose Ogun. He wouldn't want me to rebuild his ass if he lost his baby. I know how he is with his kids and about his kids. I know how he fucking is about his kids. He do not fucking play. So even though it was somebody else's baby, I told him, I was like, I don't need no thank you. I don't need no nothing. The only thing I need is you to take care of yourself and take care of your kids. I was like, I don't care what bitch, da 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 da. I don't care what's going on with you and da da da. But I do know is I'm gonna take care of your kids no matter who they are. The girls used to get so mad at me because the kids' dark side used to come to the light side, and I would teach their dark side how to maneuver through the light without having to steal somebody else's shit. Because some of the girls is they come from thievery, they thieves, some of these women. And because you have to steal some darkness in order to, anyway, it don't matter. But when the kids would come to my house, I always had, they call my house the big house. They called me to have Big Mama house. Oh, because I'm not their mother, but I'm their mom, So I had the big house, and the girls would get mad at me in the dream realm, number one, because I had the big house. I was like, yeah, as soon as he had the baby, I took half of everything and I left. I told him he had to build me a fucking house. I said his house, the house that he builds me, has to be equal. Equal. It has to be the same amount. I have to have the same amount of land. I have to have the same. I said, we 50-50 now. I was like, I'm taking all this shit. Half of it. Like if it would have been different, I would have only taken what I had with me. But he still take care of me no matter what. He took care of me. Even when we divorced, he took care of me in my spirit. And then he was like, one day he was like, I'm gonna tether it down, because when I'm in Oya, see, which I don't understand about Oya and other energies of these Orishas and whatnot, they're how do you say it? Like when I birthed a Oshun baby, that's when I'm in my heat of the moment. I'm in my heat, and I get my crown open, cracks open, and honey just fall out all over me, because Oshun babies are very, 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 very sweet. This is why they put honey on top of their head. And they can birth anything, or they used to be able to birth anything, but they would just birth little honey, astral projection, sex. They would produce, because I gave them enough honey to be able to produce whatever the fuck they want. So this is why all the Oshun babies was really always getting birth, having having babies for real. They would have like 12, 10 kids and shit like that. always producing. They would make bees, and the bees would come to Ogun to feed the field. You know, they worked really good together. But Ogun, depending on the timeline, Oya didn't like to be in this realm. She didn't like to be in this realm. So I had to duplicate different portals of feminines for Oya to come back and forth to. For Oya to come back and forth to. Because she didn't want to be here. Ogun made her a house in the middle of the forest on one of those little stilt things first. And then he would take a nail, because she was really tall. He would take a railroad spike. He would take a railroad spike and put it in the middle of the house. It looked like a little shack, but inside it was decked out and beautiful. Because Oya don't need too much. She don't need too much to survive. She know how to hunt. So sometimes she would be in the middle of the middle of the forest, and she would hunt bears and shit. That bitch was bad. In my timeline, Oya was bad as a motherfucker. I would always call her when I would in this timeline to come and take care of the kids for a little bit while I went out to go look for Ogun. While I went out, I would call her and she'd be like, nah, just send the boys to the house. She would go, you make sure that the girls is go to Yemaya, but the boys send to me because I'm gonna train the warriors. I'm gonna train them. And she would train the men under Ogun style. Cause Ogun kids was bad as fuck. Ogun and Oya kids was bad. Ogun and Oshun kid was bad. All of them was bad. I didn't want to deal with them. When I was in this energy right here is like Yemaya mixed with Olokun. This is like my elder memory stage. This is like after you have dementia and then you come back into your body and you're like, I learned all my lessons. I'm good now. I ain't got to worry about shit. So today I went because I was craving pancakes for some reason. I've been craving them since yesterday. So I went to the diner today, and it's wild because I could see through everything. Everything is like in one. I thought hella shit. Ogun met me there. His soul came. I pulled out the chair and we sat and we talked. And I was like, just use those tears that I gave you to fucking, program destruction wherever you want. You know what I mean? I was like, everything happens for a reason. Everything is meant to be for a reason. I cry about it right now because I was deeply fucking in love with you. And I never thought that you would betray me in that way and produce with another queen, making her the queen bee. I never thought that. And so I was like, just forgive me for my disaster and my destruction, like killing all the farms and fucking doing all the bad shit that I was doing on the other side. And we made up. I went to the tree and sat and sang Yemaya. I ended up tipping everybody in the restaurant additional And I said it's from Oshun. Tell everybody thank you for making my pancakes and my eggs and sausage. I was like, I love a good breakfast. Ogun on all diners. He on all the diners. He on all of them motherfuckers. But now that he's off of the war path, he's about to be in the business path. When Ogun gets a business, it's like Obatala, George Washington type shit, founding father nigga. He don't give up. He changes his whole perception of reality because he goes into producer mode from an easier standpoint because he's getting older. Thoth is the most efficient version of Ogun. Is hella far in the future, Ogun. Okay, you good now? Don't you me? So I went to the diner. We sat and talked, and he bought my food and shit like that. I had a good cup of tea. And it was just a really good day so far. The sun is shining bright. And somebody said something about a nuclear attack in New York City. I was like, finally, nigga. We gotta destroy New York and rebuild that shit. I'm not gonna say nothing else. And somebody else came to me and go, because I put yesterday. Because Rod ends up saying, he was like, oh, I'm from Chicago, I'm from here, this is my birth certificate and whatnot. And I was like, oh yeah, the Motor City. And someone's like, in my mind, someone goes, that's Detroit. I said, nigga, wherever Ogun is the Motor City. Wherever he lives is the Motor City. The Motor City changed. It's not just Detroit, Michigan. You know what I mean? He owned all of electronic energies. He owned GM. He owned all that shit. But he don't be talking about that. He don't talk about it. He played the game with the CEO and won the whole company. He played a bet with the CEO. And then put what's it called in charge of it. He all them niggas. He all them niggas. I heard through the grapevine that when he used to go to work, everybody had mad fucking respect for him. Hey! Meow. No. Chicken. Banana. Nicola. 5, 4, 3, 2. There we go. Here's your owl. Owl. Mr. Owl. Nah. Angel Grace, it's nap time. Nap time. Everyone nap time. Yeah. No. Owl. Lay down. Okay. There you go. Stop. Anyway, any other the dream after that? I don't remember, to be honest. I was up till 3 o'clock talking, or past 3 o'clock talking. I was going. I always keep his number on my crystal over here in the bedroom, just in case I need to. I have a midnight thought. Some of the most genuine information comes at midnight to 3 o'clock. So I channel really easy in the witching hours because all the witches is up doing their shit in the dream realm, and I'll be telling them, "Hey, send down a rose petal to this," or do do do. They would do it all the time. The witches took care of me too. They it didn't matter what color they was. They was white, Chinese, black, anybody um, that studied, they would take care of certain spells. They would call it abundance spells. But the abundance spells sometimes they don't transfer over because the abundance, they were like, I want to send the abundance, the higher stuff, like I want to send the abundance to the goddess. We let her know that we watching, we taking care of her. This is why I fed the birds today. I fed Yami some sausage, two sausages from and someone was like, oh, the birds don't eat, bread or meat or something like that. But I was like, they eat whatever the fuck I give them. The crows, they sure do. They fucking sure do. They sure do. But let's go. I saw a Romila today pop into one of his sons, and they were standing at attention. I was like, no, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I was like, where them little napkins that go over your lap over Mila? I was like, where them little napkins? Shh, chicken. Nap time. Angel, you got it. You want to get up and eat some ice cream? You got to take a nap first. And I give you an ice cream cone. Nope. You got to go to take a nap. And then when you wake up, I'll give you some ice cream. Okay? Okay. Nope. Do you want ice cream or not? You got to take a nap. You don't take a nap, no ice cream. You want me to get off? Just hold you. Yeah. Okay, fine. You go over there. I don't play with crybabies. I don't play with crybabies. Nope. I don't play with crybabies. Quite too much. Chicken. Oh, they don't care about my beauty. So I saw Overmillion, and I swear I saw Steve for some fucking reason. I thought I saw him. But it's all a masquerade. So sometimes I see an old woman. I was like, that's not an old woman. Sometimes I see a what's the called? See, that's not a man. They like hidden under the fucking flesh. They hidden. But I'm excited because I told Ogun, I was like, you need to come home. I was like, I'm done. The fight's over. I'm programming this reality. Let's get back to business. And I saw in the dream realm also a girl and a woman in a white dress. She was flying too. A woman in a white dress. It was long and pretty. It looked very Yamaya-ish. Yeah. She was flying, and we was looking at her, and we were like, "Wow, that's beautiful. She's beautiful." I had to come so far from the future back to this point in time in order to get my kids, in order to come and pick my babies up, and they wasn't even ready. They was still, trapped in that cycle. I was like, Ogun, you made it too comfortable for them. They're too comfortable. I was like, you got to take shit away from the kids in order for them to fucking listen. In order for them to do their homework. Yeah. Because most of us in wives didn't know how to raise their babies. That's why if they would come to my house, I would make them take their shoes off. I would make them wash their hands. I would make them do all this shit to teach them a lesson in the spirit. I was like, not everything got to transfer down below. I taught them hella shit. See? Oh, y'all coming in and out? She come in and out. But that's all Romila. Somebody want me to talk about I got you. Y'all nasty. Y'all don't want to know about that. Y'all don't want to know about I got you shit. That shit was warm. That shit would cascade down my face. I'd be like, damn. That's how lava was born. That boy had it. Yeah. I was talking about this last night. How when I birthed Argan Yu's son under Shango, and I went back because going back in time is actually going forward in time. So I took his soul and I alchemized it under Elegua or Shango and all these other three, and I would be able to take him back and forth in time. Like he was always with me. He was always with me. Eshu was always with me. Ochosi was always with me. That was my dogs. That was my motherfucking niggas. That was my ride or dies. Those are my sons. But when I would take him back in time to go meet his dad finally, because he wasn't able to meet my youngest. He's not my young. My son wasn't able under Shango energy wasn't able to meet Aganyu because Eshu, Elewa, Ochosi, they had to learn this like teamwork thing, this triplet thing, to get back into one form, to find a nigga that has the genetic sequences to hold all them niggas in one pot, so I can carry them, because it's too hot for them to get past our passion. The passion was the barrier, the passion was the barrier between this spiritual realm and the next spiritual realm. So I would put them in my pot, and I would carry them over. I carried them over to the other side. So the pot was the dragon, and they had to get initiated under Aganyu or Chosi or Goon. They had to go all alchemize all the way down to ocean, because that's how they water my kids is pure water. So I just put them in a bucket and I take them, and then when I got to Aganyu house, I poured them out, and I was like, "This is your son." I was like, I know you haven't got a chance to meet him, but I was like, it was hard for me to get them alchemized to get past the fire, because our passion is fucking beast mode. Our passion is beast mode, and they ended up staying down there with him for a long time, helping him fix shit and like so he could get some sleep. You have head issues. I'm telling you, he got head issues. That nigga crazy. He is motherfucking bad shit crazy. I loved it. I loved it. I fucking loved how crazy he was. He ain't had no motherfucking mind. That nigga was senseless. He wasn't scared of nothing. Nigga, one time I threatened Aganyu in his house in front of him. I threatened him. I was like, nigga, you better give me some motherfucking deal. Otherwise, I'm gonna blow this shit up. And I was like, you can't live here no more. He was hella mad. He was like, don't threaten. Like, he's like, oh, shoot. He would be like, baby. He was was like, put the Yemaya on. He was like, you don't need to go destruction route. We go creation. But he always kept me out bay. He always kept me out bay, nigga. He kept me at bay. He kept me at bay. But in the spiritual realm, he didn't. This one time we went with the kids. He took him on a trip to the islands because he used to pay for me to go to see Hawaii every year. He used to pay for it. And when I told him I was going to Jamaica, where my ex-husband was at the time, he was mad. He was like, I ain't letting you out the fucking country. He was like, you can go to Puerto Rico. It's like, I don't want to go to fucking Puerto Rico. It's like, I don't want to go to fucking Puerto Rico. I want to go to Jamaica. He goes, it's not ready yet. You can't go to Jamaica. It's not ready. I was like, who? Why? He? Hi. But I got you made the drum, the bata drum. He fashioned it after my woman. He was like, you know that 2, 3, 4. He said, you know that I need you to create the big no. Chicken, stop. Here's your. He's like, you know I need you to create. I was like, no, you don't. So he would he learned the drumming. He learned the drumming. And when he learned the drumming, I would teach him like just simple calls to call me, like through the drum. And then I would always send him hella shit through the fucking music. Hella shit. So he could create his underground. He could create his shit. But the most passionate I've ever been was with him because he had respect. He was respectable. He was a respectable man. One time, some shit went down between me and Upper Realm wife. And his Upper Realm wife. The Upper Realm wife. And something popped off and he ended up slicing me. Calling me yummy. Cursing me. He cursed me. That nigga cursed me because I did shit. He cursed me back. He did. I was crying. I was like, you really just messed up my face, made me look like a fucking, like a crazy woman. He sliced me on my face with a claw. With a white claw. I sewed that shit up and I was ugly for a while, man. I couldn't fix it. Because I got you know, he passionate about his feminines, his women. He don't let nobody play, not even me. He don't let nobody play on the upper realm with his shit. He don't. I was like, I'm your first wife, nigga. What the fuck? I was like, I am, and you acting like she your first wife. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I gave you an order. I was like, I did all this shit back in the day. Coded that bitch for you. And he just like acted like I didn't exist. Tried to fucking act like I didn't exist. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I got you. Are you in there? I was like, are you fucking out of your mind? Are you crazy? Are you batshit? What the fuck is going on with your electronic functions? You ain't got your brain no more, nigga. I was like, put your fucking head on. Put your crown on. So I can talk to you. He just ignored that shit. I was like, I'm so offended. by you. I was like, you remember that one time in Cuba? But we had some toxic shit too. Man, I don't know if I told this story about. I think I did though. At one point in time, I talked about how I got you and me was in Cuba. His wife ended up shooting me. She ended up shooting me when was it Cuba? We met in underground Seattle. It was underground nightclub shit. You know, musicians and drummers and all that shit. We met up, and I was what was it? I was hella young in my spiritual development. I was hella young, and then I met him, and I went to the club, and I was like, "Let me be the bartender." So I was a bartender, and then they found out I could sing, so I started singing. I made him hella money. He was in the background, and I was just like, "Yeah, Maya, no, boom, 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 boom. So I was singing in the back of my head, but I was singing Atlantean, Lumerian. I was singing into the underwater shit. But the front end, it was Spanish. Spanish is based on the water. Yeah, me up. Back in. Give me ya, dere, dere, akolona kuwawa, dere, dere. So backwards. If you speak Spanish, you speak it backwards, it's Atlantean. It got hella Atlantean tongue dialects in it. So you could like alchemize the Spanish language to be whatever you want. Right off the tongue. Tip of the tongue. And then I made his nightclub hella popular. We didn't like we had hella tension, right? Me and Aganyu had hella tension. Everybody felt it in the room. Everybody felt it. Everybody sensed it. You know, his wife got jealous and mad and shit like that because we had that chemistry. And I was like, because that's my son, that's my dad, and he's already been here and back. He's been around the world twice, nigga. He old too. That's Ogun's brother. Aganyu is Ogun's brother. So we had that tension. It it grew over time. It grew stack. But he always had a what's it called? He always had a code of conduct. He always held himself at a good standard. He was like, I don't. He what is it called when you hella restraint and shit. He hella restraint. He may get mad or tap his foot or something like that. But he never showed that energy, that passion, that anger. You never got mad. It was his Shango energy. When his Shango energy would come out and be birthed through Oya, then he would get mad. He would beat fucking women the fuck up. He used to beat the fuck out of some of the girls. I was like, I got you. You can't put your hands on a woman. But he was taught that energy. He was taught that energy by some bedroom activity, because in order to get what he needed out of me, he had to do some things, but it would trigger because he crazy. He would have a trigger in his brain and he would automatically go back to that session in the bedroom and channel that energy and just like go wild on a bitch. I'll be like, damn. His soul used to beat the fuck out of some women. I used to be like, damn, y'all don't make him mad. But nobody knew his trigger. Nobody knew I got you trigger. I found his trigger one day. He told me, he goes, I have been in this globe or in this energy for a long time. He goes, I've, traveled, I've did this, I've, played music in the Himalayas, I've done this, I've done this. He goes, but the only time that I felt free is sitting in there just talking to you in my mind. He goes, that's the only time I really felt like fucking I deserved more and I was this, I was the man, da 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 da. Because, he had his ego body. He had his ego body uh, under under attack at all times because nobody wanted Aganyu to produce. Because if he produced, that nigga would produce fire. You know, nigga always nigga bought out the fuck out of some shit. And he was like, you know, you are my fucking trigger. He goes, you know, I lose constraint, I lose control on the inside. He goes, but I never let that shit come out because he said, I know that if me and you tussle, blah 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 blah, we would fucking blow up the world. We would create this and we would create that. He goes, I've already planned in my head everything. He goes, it's already organized. It's already this. He goes, you know, I'm just working on that fucking ding, that ding, ready to go. Let's go. He said, and I'm gonna be there now. Let's go. But he was like, I was waiting. I've been waiting. I finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I paused time one time. I paused time. And I told him that I needed him to put the world to the side for a second and think of me as his wife. I was like, I don't care what happens after the shut Paul after oh yeah after we done pausing time. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I was like, I need to get this energy out. Like I can't build. I can't continue my journey if I can't explode this energy, sense that shit, put it back together, rewind. Da, 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 da. So he did his thing. Boom. On a tree, up against a tree. That tree is the most sacred tree in the world now. One tree. I told him, I was like, you gotta feed that tree once a year, man. I was like, as soon as the world is over, you feed it one time, one chicken, and everything you ever wanted will produce from that tree. From that one tree. But yeah, Aganyu had a temper. I didn't know how to uncode that shit too. I was trying my best to uncode his temper. I would push him and da 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 da. You know, I would bring my boyfriends to his house. I would bring my side niggas to his house. I'd be like, you can't say shit. You can't you can't say shit to Ogun. I was like, da, 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 da. This is a different timeline, nigga. I was like, you can't do that shit to me. Stop, baby. Stop. We gonna change your diaper and go to bed. I just have to finish this story. So when Aganyu and I finally paused time, we went back to when I was a singer in at his shop. We chose that timeline over this. We didn't do anything, right? We laid in the bed and we was talking for hours and hours, and I would sing and he would be like, oh, that's tight, you know. And then we fell asleep. So we didn't get a chance to like consummate that energy. We just fell asleep holding each other in bed. And his wife came home at this timeline and just I was like, how? Because his when his women get jealous, they are murderous. Because they tap into his energy. They become murderers over his energy. And I was like, if yo bitch kill me this timeline. I said, if yo bitch kill me this timeline, put her hands on me on this timeline. I said, I'm taking all your kids. I was like, I'm taking them back. Because I go back to black. And he was like, you threatening my fucking kids? He goes, get the fuck out my house. He goes, you don't threaten my family up in my motherfucking house. Who the fuck you think you is? He went off and he was getting me hot. I was like, damn, ain't no motherfucker in my life ever talked to me like this, nigga. Gone never, over Mila never, Sean Guy never. Sean Guy was just doing sneaky shit. Fucking Arula, that man nigga talk to me like that. Just my motherfucking firework, nigga. Ooh. There was times he would just he would rile me the fuck up. He would rile me up so bad. He would rile me up so bad. I would dress up purposely in like some black latex, sexy ass shit, walking around the house, and I'd be like, I'm going out. After he would yell at me, and talk shit, I ain't do shit but make him jealous. Like I would get dressed up, black lipstick. He knew I was going to the underworld then. He knew I was going to the fucking underworld. I would go to the fucking what's it called? The White House under black. Through our gun you. And I would go to the White House, black side. And then I would meet up with somebody. I don't want to talk about, but I would meet up with him, and then I would give him the flower. And then I would come home beaming with motherfucking energy. Boom, boom, boom. Ready to create. And I said, don't fucking touch me ever again. I was like, I ain't fucking with you. I was like, don't yell at me. I get mad when I get yelled at. He go, I can't control that shit. You know my trigger. My kids is my trigger. My wife is my trigger. This is my trigger. You push my buttons on purpose. I was like, all you needed to do fucking was apologize, but you ain't need to. I was just saying, if you put your hands on me. But I know that you never will. But I'm making sure that you know through my verbal that I will kill you and everything you motherfucking love if you put your hands on me. But when he was in his Shango energy and I was in my Oya energy, he would hit me.